Now, these two palettes are cream. But let me tell you, anytime you use a creative color or a fantasy color, there's one of two ways you can set it. You can either set it, and you need to set it because it's cream. And if you don't set it, it's going to bleed or run or crease, depending on what part of the face you're using it on. So you can set it with no color powder, and it will not change the color of the creative color. Or if you have an eyeshadow or a powder product that is the same color as either one of these palettes, you can set it with that. So say you're using the gold copper creative color to paint on the eyes, and you have a gold copper eyeshadow. You can use that to set the creative color, and it will make it even more vibrant. It'll really jump out. Okay, but the cream products used without being set properly can really become a debacle. Because if you paint on the face with them and then you don't set it, and then you accidentally rest your hand on that side of the face while you're working on the other side, you're going to smudge it, smear it, remove it, any number of scenarios. So remember, no matter what, when you're working with a cream product, if you want it to stay exactly as you've applied it, you need to set it. And even if you're using the black, believe it or not, the no color powder will not change it and make it gray. It will still look black. All right? All right, here we go. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to lighten her base everywhere so that we have sort of that winter princess, ice princess, I should say, look. So I'm going to go to the studio bases. I don't necessarily have to go to a white because I don't want to white out her face. I'm not doing a geisha. This is just my personal design. Now, one of the things that's so much fun for us as instructors in this area is watching what comes out of your imaginations. Because we are not going to give you a design. You got to come up with it all on your own. But it's always really nice to see what comes out of that brain of yours and what you get translated from here to the face. And it always surprises me. Because there's always someone that's like, comes out with something completely sick. And I'm like, where's the beauty in this? Well, it's beautiful to me. You're sick. That's not pretty. So, we'll see if we can avoid any of that. You know what I'm talking about, right? Okay, so I'm going to start with the base. See how I can just bring her complexion up already by just using the lighter studio bases? I don't really need to use like a white to get this effect. I do need to make sure that I have it blended into her hairline, but I am using a headpiece on her. Okay, so I'm even getting the back of behind her ear. Anywhere where her skin is exposed, I want to make sure that I get it consistently lightened up so I have continuity. So I'm just going to go right over her eyebrow for now because I'm probably going to end up doing some type of gemstones across her eyebrows. So I am going to smooth out the creases on her eyes before I powder them. But for right now, I'm going to powder this entire makeup in the Pearl High Tone Intensifier because I want her to have that shimmery, frosted look all over her face. But just like you would, you know, set a face in powder after you baste it. That's what I'm doing, but I'm using the pearl. So she's got an iridescence to her. Okay, I'm subtly bringing some pink into her cheeks. Okay. See what that metallic does? And we have it in clear, we have it in opalette, we have it in all those colors. I'm going to torture her a little bit more because I find that if I don't put these eyelashes on early on in the makeup, they're so elaborate that I'll start doing all this work on the eye, and then once the eyelashes are on, you can't see any of it because they're pretty overwhelming. So this one I already know is going to be a little long. Trim into these a little bit. Just look down. Relax your eye, Reby. Can you keep pressure on this outer part? Because it's not grabbing. Now, obviously, if I wanted to, I could have blocked out her eyebrows, but would it have made any sense for me to do that? Because the rhinestones really cover up all the hair on the eyebrows. And where I did end up with a little bit poking through, all I did was add some small rhinestones to fill in those gaps. So there's the beginnings of it. Look up. Pretty little row of rhinestones following her lash line around. Cool, I know. So I put some duo down ahead of time, which has its advantages and its disadvantages. And I'll tell you what the disadvantage is that the rhinestones have a tendency to slide out of place more easily. The advantage is you can very often get through the application a little bit quicker. This is just adding a tiny bit of more color to her face in between those teardrops. Can you see that little bit of pink? So they stand out a little bit more on her face than against the white. Sorry. I want a little bit more base, a little bit further down on her neck, so that when she's photographed, she can be photographed from like here up, right, Gonzalo? So I kind of had, when I was doing this, sort of a 1920s feel to it when I was testing out this makeup on her.
Do you want this out right here on the side?
What?
This?
Yeah, I got it. You're fine. Okay. There we go. I think if I stick it through here, then we'll get the front of it. How's that? Are you guys just saying that to appease me? Okay, let's see. Are you going to go change?
Do you want me to?
Well, I don't know. I mean, do you guys want to come up and take pictures of it? Come look at all of it up close? Close your eyes.